Welcome to S Class, the highest tier in podcasting. With me is the facilitator of festivals. It's Robert.
What does that even imply? That I plan parties?
Yeah, I'd say so.
A facilitator is somebody that gets things organized, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever planned
And
or
I am
wanted
your
to be
host, the conqueror of cons. It's Justin.
No, I mean, I get it. Thematically, you went to a convention and you're trying to, parlay that into our introductions, but I would
You
never,
gotta
ever
work with me here,
host
Rob.
or put together anything resembling a party or festival.
I don't think most of our friends have ever even been to your house.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, that's an opening. And as we segue into it, I want to tell you a little bit about MAGFest, Rob.
Yeah, I figured as much with that opening.
Yeah, you're not really supporting me here. So I went to MAGFest with a few of our friends. Unfortunately, Rob could not make it because he is a facilitator of fatherhood now, not really
Yes,
festival.
that makes more sense. Actually, it really doesn't.
I don't. But it was awesome. 4 days. You were heavily missed. Me and Rich were talking about how we wish we could have been in a room and we could have thrown you in a room with John because I was going to murder him at some point.
I would never share a room or bed with John. He's disgusting.
Don't you share a bed with John all the time?
That's different, but we're getting off topic.
Basically, like every morning, John will wake up at like 9:30, but like he'd stay in bed for the next hour and a half just listening to things on his phone. And I'd be like, John, pack your sandwich, pack your snacks. We got to get going. He's like, what's the rush? And it's like fucking 11:30 and he's still getting dressed. And I was like, bro, I did not come all the way to DC for you to lay in the hotel room for till noon.
Watching YouTube videos.
So I was going to murder him at some point. But overall, it was
none of which were S-Class, I'm guessing, right?
Of our YouTube videos, no. He would sit in the car ride down and say, what's that most recent podcast you talked about? What was the best anime of the year? I was like, why don't you just listen to the podcast?
No.
But I digress. Overall, it was an awesome trip. So many amazing artists. There was like a massive room of arcades and consoles. Like, I wish we had done this before your fatherhood and you could have been a part of the trip. And if you can kind of swing it next year, it would be awesome.
Is it every year, like in January?
Every year, January, it kind of has
always in DC
schedule. Yep.
Interesting.
Usually 3 to 4 days. And I just wanted to swing some of the highlights by you, if that's okay.
Of course.
Number one is I got to meet Super Eye Patch Wolf and the Let's Fight a Boss podcast, which I'm a huge fan of. And
that's pretty cool.
A huge inspiration for this whole channel. So that was like surreal. I was like, shit, this guy's a real
Did you name drop us?
I was wearing my S-Class shirt that you bought.
Okay.
And then like when I went to go like take a picture with them and like talk to them a little bit, I was like, oh yeah, you guys inspired us. And like, hey, that's awesome. But they had such a long line. Like, do you want a picture or something? And I was like, damn, I was trying to sneak our name in there. But that was like surreal and awesome. I entered a Pokemon Puzzle League tournament.
Oh my god, they had that?
You would not believe, like, I was trying to get in on some of those consoles. There's 2 of them set up, and they were busy the entire con. And they had 2 days worth of tournaments out of the 4 days, had a Pokemon Puzzle League tournament. And when I went to the second day, there was about 30 people there.
30?
Probably over 30.
What place did you come in?
I lost in the first round, but
okay.
We were about even, to be honest. The first round, like, so she knocked out 2 of my guys, I knocked out 2 of her guys, and then it came down to the last match, and I felt confident. I looked at the screen, I said, I can see all the combos.
Wait, who was your trainer?
I was Richie.
Oh, that's why you lost.
No, Richie's the best. But I could see like all the combos on the screen, but then like the match went on for over 3 minutes, Rob, and all of a sudden the vision came out of my eyes and I could not see the combos anymore and I lost the battle of it.
I gotta be honest with you, like, this is a massive turnoff for me. The fact that you lost in the first round is like devastating to me. I think so little of you right now.
Here's the thing, Rob. So like, you know how I crush you in this game, like you're a filthy peon? This girl was about the same level as me, honestly. Like, we'd probably break 6'4", 5'5", give or take. There were people there that were just like, would crush me in 30 seconds. It was nuts. That was about as lucky as I could get in a match.
That just makes me even more disappointed in you. So you probably would have come in 30th of 30th.
I probably could have made it to the second round, but I would not have made it past that for sure.
That is a major bummer.
But there's just levels to this, Rob. It's nuts.
Yeah, and you're not part of them.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely big fish, small pond.
Oh, that's so sad. That really bums
Um,
me out.
Two more things is I played. There's like this little blackjack stand. They call it Frick Frack Blackjack, where this like
Okay.
crazy looking dude. He just collects junk essentially or knickknacks, and you can bet anything except for cash. And he'll play blackjack with the entire table of like 15 people. Like this one girl bet like a cat piano. One guy bet a month's worth of estrogen. I won myself 2 volumes of Fruits Basket, like the original ones that are no longer being printed. So
Wow, that sounds valuable.
I think they're about like $20 or $30 each now.
That's pretty cool still.
Yeah, but it's just cool to have them because I really
Yeah.
love that manga, and those have been pretty much out of stock for a long time. And then the final highlight I wanted to pass by you was there's a little space called the Maker Space, which is a place where people like sew and draw and create things. And Rich came with me one night, and he was trying to flirt with a young lady, only to discover about an hour and a half in, and he was like spitting some good game. Rich has got some great game. An hour and a half, and she's like, my partner. And then
Oh.
Rich was just so heartbroken. And then John came in towards the end of the night to pick us up, and he was like, you trying to shack up with a married woman? And we just want to let Rich down off of that for the next 2 days.
Yeah, that's a yikes. Hopefully he made a friend out of it at least.
I don't know. I think his heart's broken after that.
Devastated.
Can't even mention her name anymore.
Oh, Kimi no Nawa.
So that was the 4 days of MAGFest, and it was a blast. And I
That sounds great.
You can make it with us next year or in the future in general.
I was swimming in duty for those 4 days, so
It's about a comparable time if we compare the smells.
I was about to say, I think it probably smelled better at my place than it did at the convention.
Most
actually,
definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely. Robert, let's talk about some real anime. You want to tell me about Tomo-chan is a Girl?
Yeah, we're in the winter 2023 anime season, and at first glance, we both thought this. It looked terrible, right? This season?
It still looks pretty terrible.
Believe it or not, not so bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's actually kind of okay. Tomo-chan is our rom-com of the season. I have seen it before the manga. I've never read it. So I am aware of its existence, so I could definitely see a Chad video coming from this in the future.
Oh my god.
Really, the premise is two a guy and a girl have been friends since they were kids, but like she's kind of a tomboy and he doesn't really see her as a girl, but she crushes on him and hijinks ensue.
And how do you feel about this in comparison to all of your previous smuts?
I'm enjoying it so far. It's been fun.
Okay.
Because sometimes with these smuts, you'll know in the first like 3 minutes that it's not enjoyable or fun or like entertaining. It's definitely not good, but it's like I'm watching anime at 3 a.m. while feeding my baby. You know, it's good to have on in the background for 20 minutes.
Anime of the year.
It's going to be in the top 20.
That's how it goes.
That's just how it goes.
All right, Rob. Well, then I have something equally as fine as maybe Tomo-chan as a girl. It is Naruto Konoha's story, The Steam Ninja Scrolls, the manga. That is the full title.
I don't think I want to hear anything more about it than the title. As somebody that knows a lot about Naruto.
Here's the thing. I really enjoyed this, actually. And
it's standalone story? Manga?
It's a standalone story in the timeline of Boruto, where Naruto's now the Hokage, Kakashi's retired. And I think you would actually enjoy this. It's kind of like slice of life with Kakashi and Guy, and they're just going on a vacation to the Steam Village to go do a mission, but so far they're just having a great time. And Asuma and Kurenai's daughter is their bodyguard. She's like, oh, I got to protect the old Hokage, and Guy, who's injured, who's like a legend. And she's like super serious and kind of like trying to protect her dad's legend. And they're just having a great time. And it's just really nice to see these two old guys just be best friends. And most recently, there's a dog and cat festival where the dog and cat people, like Kiba and his wife, are fighting.
I was about to say, is Kiba there?
Yeah, Kiba's there. They're both like the village
Akamaru?
chief. Akamaru's like old as shit now. Akamaru should not be alive.
Oh, wait, like, yeah. He's a dog.
He's like 17 or something, and he is on his last legs.
Now, is this an ongoing thing?
It's still ongoing. We're only 6 chapters in.
Oh, wow.
Kakashi and Guy are just chilling at the tournament. They're just trying to go to the onsen, and Asuma's daughter has to break out a domestic dispute between Kiba and his wife.
Oh dear God.
And it's just silly, and it's just a fun time. Not so serious, and not like Kaguya level god tier fights and anything like that. I think you should give it a shot
You
if
see,
you're at all
I
missing
think I
some
would
Naruto.
enjoy a more low key trek back into Naruto, where it's like a little more casual, a little more lower stakes, feeling like earlier on in the series. I could be down with that.
I think you should give it a shot, and I think there's another series running concurrently, the Sasuke one, and that has no interest for me. That sounds like it's going to be so edgy and serious, and
Yeah,
god tier Renengen stuff that I just have no
I
interest
think
in.
that's my problem. Why I get so triggered whenever Naruto is mentioned is that it like ended so unfun for me that like I don't even want to engage with the stuff that I did enjoy at one point.
Yeah, I think I'm behind that as well. But the Kakashi picture just kind of drew me in the initial.
I think I'm down with that then.
Yeah, I check it out. I think it's a fun time. Rob, can you tell us a little bit about Shuna's journey?
Oh, it's just like an old Miyazaki manga. I think it was before any of his movies had come out. If not, maybe Castle on the or Nausicaa was already out. But it's like very clearly aspects of it were used in Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah,
Like the horse or whatever the hell it is the same exact thing.
the elk. Yeah,
A lot of it is just like humans are bad and nature is being destroyed because humans don't respect it. You know, it's a lot of those themes are very clearly on, but it's cool. The whole thing's in the like watercolor art, very nice to look at. But you know, it's Miyazaki's heavy-handed anti-human themes. But it was enjoyable.
As someone who's not the biggest Mononoke fan, what were your thoughts in comparison to it?
It was definitely toned down in the violence, so I think I enjoyed it more than I did Mononoke. I think Mononoke is just over the top with its violence and a little too graphic for what you're going in, you know, as Studio Ghibli fans. You're not necessarily anticipating that much.
Okay, cool. Our last anime and manga of the day is Buddy Daddies.
Did you watch both episodes?
I watched them both today, and I just want to start off by saying this is the order that I watched them in. Episode 2, the first 5 minutes before I realized it was episode 2, I was like, wow, this is moving very quickly along. The baby's already with them. And then I was like, I'm on episode 2. So I switched back to episode 1 and then watched the last 15 minutes of episode 2.
I like it, but I absolutely hate the child.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand her. She's like, Anya is such a more enjoyable, like, written 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and this kid is just so annoyingly incompetent and constantly ruining things, and it's just, like, frustrating. I've never felt frustrated with Anya and Spy Family, but this girl, like, everything she does is just frustrating, and it feels like it's just slowing down interesting aspects of the show.
I haven't hated her yet. I think she's just kind of feels like a set piece right now as opposed to a real character, but that's kind of a 4-year-old as well. The pacing can get really slow until the action starts going, and then I think it's pretty fun and enjoyable.
I do like the action.
The build up to the action can get a little bit boring is how I've felt so far.
Yeah, I'm mostly just so focused on how much she annoys me, honestly.
I thought that you kind of like fall for this because like you have a daughter now and that this would be totally up your alley.
I liked her in the first episode. It was the second episode that really started setting me off.
Like the hide and seek and like...
Yeah. Because, like, I get it, like, she's a 4-year-old, but she doesn't pick up on any of the hints that they're being shot at, and that, like, her actions are about to get, potentially, her guardians killed.
But that's the whole hijinks of it, right? Because, like, you have one guy who's literally, like, holding a sniper rifle into, like, 20 other guys, and the bullets are just swishing past him, and he's fine. Like, I was like, I can't take the action of this too seriously. This is a hijinks anime.
But I think also tonally, it's a little confusing because there is so much, like, murder, casual murder, and death, and it's like, but are we supposed to find this funny and light and casual, or is there serious undertones? I don't think it knows exactly what tone it wants either.
I guess so. Yeah.
I just feel like it's hard not to compare it to Spy Family, and I feel like Spy Family
knows what
definitely
it wants.
has, but it knows what it wants, but it also is able to switch between the comedy and the mature themes and, like, you know, serious moments. Like within the series of Spy Family, you have that intense Lloyd flashback, and then just like anything with Anya. Those are all part of the same series, and it feels organic. Whereas this, it just doesn't feel like it knows which one it's doing at what time, and it's not really doing either well enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I would agree with you. So I'm going to keep up with it for a little while. I don't think this is going to be anime of the season or anything like that. But then again, it's a pretty low bar for the season. But I think it'll be fine.
I'll continue watching it, definitely, but I'm a little critical right now.
I think that's fair. Robert, let's switch into video games. And I want to talk a little bit about a video game called Bug Fables. And you said you've played this before, right?
I did. I wanted to like it a lot more than I did. It just, I get what it was doing. It's a Paper Mario styled game centered around insects, and the gameplay is there, but it's kind of hard to make a fun, engaging world around the insects, and I just didn't feel like continuing playing after a few hours because the world itself just didn't motivate me to explore it.
I'm similar to you. I'm probably a bit higher than you. I'm 20 hours in. I played this about a month ago when I had COVID and I had like literally nothing to do except for be dying. And I agree with you. I think that the dynamic between the three main characters is fun. But because you only have three characters for the most part, it kind of pulls away from the 7 partners that the original 2 Paper Marios had, which I miss a lot. The other thing is that at times the RPG aspect is good, but the puzzle platformer part is like kind of miserable.
Oh, it's so tedious.
Yeah, it's like where you have to like freeze ice cubes using the moth and then like move them around. I had to like redo some puzzles like 6 or 7 times because the aiming mechanism is just so bad.
Yeah.
And the other critical thing I'd give of it is that the enemies or the boss monsters are super unmemorable because they're just like giant bugs or giant plants. And maybe because we have that historical knowledge of Mario makes them more memorable and fun.
Right.
Overall, I'd still say it's a pretty fun and well put together game, but it's definitely not pulling me in like those first 2 Paper Marios, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I agree. I saw what it was doing. I got what it was doing. It wasn't good enough for me to continue with. I got probably 5 or 6 hours in, but I didn't have that motivation to continue playing it.
I'm like 5 chapters out of 7 in. I might finish this. I've recently lent out my Switch controllers, so I have not been able to, but I might finish it this year.
How do you loan your controllers?
My friend was going on vacation and they were going to play with their family like Mario Kart and stuff, so they needed extra controllers, so I just gave it.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I was gonna say who just needs controllers, but
No, they had a Switch,
that makes more sense. Okay.
Rob, I know Pokemon has been out for quite some time now, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Is it in your top 5 games of all time, like our friend Ryan?
Oh my god. It's not even in my top 5 Pokemon games on the Switch. That might not be true. But it's not in the top 3.
I don't think there are 5 on the Switch. Or maybe
No,
exactly
there are.
5.
Legends Arceus, Pokemon Snap, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are better than this.
And Sword and Shield are worse, so this might be number 4.
Yes, Sword and Shield are absolutely worse than this.
Which one did you choose, Violet or Scarlet?
Scarlet. It doesn't work. The game is broken. It's a mess. Everybody knows that at this point. My main problem with it is the region doesn't feel the least bit soulful. It's just like, here's your desert, here's your snow area, here's your swamp, here's your grasslands. And it doesn't feel like it's done with purpose. It just feels like these biomes are necessary so that you can catch certain Pokemon in these areas. It's supposed to be based on Spain. Nothing about this game screams that this is Spain. It doesn't feel like it actually had the effort put into its world. And that's a huge part of Pokemon games. And this is what really pisses me off, is none of the buildings are enterable. You cannot enter houses in any of the towns. It's just a menu. They just did the bare minimum. It's just such a lazy game.
Is this a backwards walk from Arceus? Like, could you walk into buildings in the previous game?
Well, Arceus only really had a main hub town, which did have buildings you could walk in, but it's a step back from Arceus in that you can't just catch Pokemon without entering battle anymore. That was the big thing in Arceus. That was great. Just moving around during battles. The menu system in Arceus was a lot quicker and snappier. This game, like, borderline crashes every time you go and hit start. It's just, you don't want to talk about that aspect of it because everybody knows that the game is a mess and programmed like garbage, but, like, it is a problem too.
I didn't believe how serious this was until I saw my niece a couple days ago because it was her birthday. And then she's like, "You want to see my team?" And she clicked start. And it took like a good 20 seconds to load her 6 Pokemon. I was like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's chugging.
Yeah, it chugs. The frame rate is non-existent.
With that being said, how many hours have you sunk into it?
I really didn't put that many in. I finished the game in 20 hours and I had no desire to continue playing.
You want to share your final team? Or do you not even have enough pride in it that you'd care to share?
What did I have? Well, I don't even remember what I had. I had this. I picked the fire starter because the grass one ended up being some like weird furry thief, and the duck ended up being this really like hyper sexualized duck, which made no sense to me. So by default, I had to pick the crocodile. I liked the only thing I liked was the giraffe evolution.
Yes, the one where the ass ate its head.
I think it's pronounced farif. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But other than that, didn't really care for any of the new Pokemon either.
Damn. So that's another dumpster fire of a Pokemon game. So,
yep. Major bummer.
Last piece on video games, I just wanted to share some of the video games that I played while I was at MAGFest. Admittedly, didn't play enough of them. Like I was out wandering around and going to panels and stuff. But some games that I played for the first time, GoldenEye, really fun. I can't believe I haven't played that in the past 20 some odd years.
You never played GoldenEye?
No, none of my friends.
Oh, wow.
Ever
it's coming to
played
Switch soon.
I'm terrible at it. Like we played like 5 matches.
Nobody's good at it.
And I think I didn't get a single kill in all 5 of those games.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad. We tried a round of just slappers. That was miserable. We immediately reset the game after 1 minute of being like, this isn't going to work. I played a couple arcade games, the Spider-Man and X-Men arcade game. But the highlight for me was a game called Choushin Heiki Zeroigar.
I do not know what that is.
It is on a system that I didn't even know existed called a PCFX from 1994.
I do not know what that is.
It's like this fucking brick of a system. It's like this giant console that looks like a computer, and it's really cool because at MAGFest they had a video game museum. So it has like from the 80s of like Pong, and you just kind of circle around, and they have all the systems leading up through there. And they had this box, and it was the game that was on was this Choushin Heiki game. And it's have you ever played Gradius on the SNES?
Yes, of course.
It's like Gradius, but like 10 times better with like anime, like full blown 80s anime cutscenes in between each match. And it's like, I played Gradius while I was at the festival as well. And it felt like I was on cocaine playing Choushin Heiki. Like how fast you're moving. You're like literally zipping across the screen. I was like, is this normal speed? It is not.
Is this normal?
Like it was a pretty fun time. We played that for about like 30 minutes to an hour. And, it was just cool to explore and learn about this new console that I didn't even know existed.
That I'll have to look into, just out of curiosity. Obviously, I'll never be able to play it, but I'm curious to see what it looks like.
I did like a little bit of research before this podcast, and I think like one copy of Choushin Heiki is going for like $200 or something stupid.
Yikes. No thanks.
I could probably find a ROM for it, but yeah, it was a fun time.
That is illegal.
What? No. Robert, do you know what time it is?
Is it Big News Morgan's breaking news? Is it time?
No, it's not. It's actually time for Robert's S-Class Karaoke.
Wait, no, that's not a thing. What are you
Robert,
talking about?
today you'll be singing the 4Kids dub of One Piece.
No, I won't.
Are you denying the S-Class Karaoke, Robert?
Is that the Don't Give It Up Dreaming one?
That is the Don't Give It Up Dreaming one.
Gaio, Don't Give It Up Dreaming. Luffy, Don't Give It Up Dreaming. Zoro, right?
That's the one.
That's the one?
Yep.
All right, that's all you're getting out of me. Yayo, yayo.
You've pretty much done the whole song at this point. You should have just played along.
That's all it is.
Robert, what time is it now, actually?
Is it now time for the Big News Morgan's breaking news?
It is time for Big News Morgan's breaking news.
What news is breaking?
Well, these were on the docket for at least 2 weeks, so it's not breaking anymore. But the first piece of news is Hades 2 is in production. It popped up on my YouTube feed, and it looks amazing.
Of course.
It looks like more Hades, and this time you're playing as Zagreus' sister, who I thought was actually his daughter until I read a little bit more into it. And there's like a iconic title song, and when that drops like maybe a minute into the trailer, it would just like hit all the dopamine receptors, and I'm so excited for this.
Well, that was your game of the year 2 years ago, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks to be similar but different enough that I think it could go pretty.
Does it have a timeline yet?
No timeline, no additional information besides the trailer, but just excited for this to come out.
I'm happy for you.
Are you?
No, I don't care.
Never. The second piece of news is Takahiko Inoue wants to draw Vagabond again.
Is that if he wants to? That doesn't mean he will.
I think he has intentions to, is what this is implying.
Yeah, but I want to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. That doesn't mean I will.
I think we will. One day. I think he genuinely has intentions to. So I think it's been, I don't know, an 8-year hiatus since he paused it. And I think we're close to the final arcs. Like, he could get this done in like a few years, I think, if he wants to. But he also has Real going on as well, and that's not even close to finishing. So I don't know how he's going to manage this.
Spoiler alert, he probably won't.
I think he will. Maybe he'll do.
You think he'll finish both series at some point?
He's 50? Oh, God, I hope so. Probably not.
Yeah, obviously you hope so, but like, realistically.
Realistically, he could if he didn't get bored of both of them and stop both of them.
But is that the issue, or is it just physically?
I don't know if he's sick. I think he's okay. But he just puts so much like love and effort into every single chapter that he doesn't.
Well, that's for sure, yeah.
Like, he doesn't just pump them out. Like, he's not going for the consistency. Let's just get something out there. He's like, each one of these has to be a masterpiece, is what it feels like when he draws. And that's probably his biggest hurdle to overcome.
Ah, so it's the opposite of modern One Piece.
Exactly. They both have their merits.
Not the art of modern One Piece.
No,
Say what you will about the story, but the art.
Not the art, but the fact that he's just coming out with it. Like, One Piece will be there, whether or not you're disappointed or not. At least you can't say anything about his lack of effort for putting out 50 chapters for the last 25 years.
But you could.
You could. Robert, last piece of news is Spy Family is going to be releasing a movie this year.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm wondering what that actually means. Is it going to be an arc, or is it an original story? Will it be canon, even though it's not part of the manga? I'm very curious about this.
No news on this one from the last time I've researched it. And I think if I had to guess, it'd sort of be like one of those anime movies that's non-canon. And because the nature of being a spy, you just have random missions, I think it'll just be like a fun random mission.
I agree with the thought process, but I also feel like Spy Family has such a wide appeal at this point that I don't know that they'd want to mix with the canon, non-canon thing.
Oh,
like,
you think that they want to do that? Naruto,
No,
One Piece, every single movie.
But I'm saying that's all garbage that appealed to people that loved anime, whereas Spy Family appeals to more people than just that. I just mean to market to the non-weebs. People like my wife, she would want like it to be part of the story.
The thing about Spy Family, it has a whole bunch of canon things that are just like one-offs. So like this kind of fits in right with the storytelling.
That's what I'm saying. Would they make it work?
Yeah, I think so. Like, those little chapters where Anya just goes to school or Lloyd has a mission that's like non-consequential. I think it'd just be like a longer one of those. And I don't think a non-weeb would even notice that it's non-canon. They don't even know what canon, non-canon means.
But I do.
But you do. But we're talking about people like your wife and folks. They'd just be like, oh, cool. Like an hour and a half thing of Lloyd being sexy and Anya being adorable.
What about Yor?
Yor might show up. Maybe she won't.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I'm down with it.
Rob, I want to play this exercise with you of what is your ideal type of mission that they're doing during this movie?
I want them on vacation.
Okay.
I want them not in, quote unquote Germany, somewhere like unique, a different type of setting.
Okay.
Maybe, you know what? Let's go to Italy. Beaches of Italy.
Uh-huh.
Something like that in the Mediterranean. I don't know what kind of mission they gave Lloyd, but they had to go away for that purpose. I would like this to be one of those things where Lloyd and Yor both have a mission and they don't realize the other is on a mission, obviously, and hijinks like with them running into each other and trying to hide that they're working. I think some stuff like that could be fun.
Is that not every chapter?
No, but they never really are. Have they ever been like on the same mission?
I guess the boat arc was a little bit of that because Twilight wasn't technically on a mission, but he was trying to like figure out that there was like a terrorist on the boat.
So something like that, like in a Mediterranean beach town.
I was thinking about a different direction, but maybe we can smash the two ideas together. I'm thinking Frankie has this very elaborate plot, but you don't know that Frankie's the villain until like an hour into the movie. And there's like this crazy mission. It gets kind of intense and serious. And then at the end of it, Frankie reveals himself to be the villain, all in an effort to get himself on a date.
That's so much better than mine.
But it could all happen in Italy.
Exactly. While they're on vacation.
I love it. I almost feel like it's definitely going to be a vacation story. It can't not be.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it works. It makes sense. Because I feel like for a movie, they got to get away from their normal setting.
Yeah.
Right?
That way it makes it's kind of self-contained and it doesn't have an impact on what's going on in Westeros.
Yeah.
If that's where they are. Berlin.
Berlin. Totally not Germany.
All right, Rob, that's everything for Big News Morgan's breaking news. And now we move into emails. If you guys have a question or want to ask us anything, you guys can send an email to sclasspodcast@gmail.com, or you can find Rob on, sclassrob on Twitter?
It's very simple, yes.
So we actually have 2 questions from one person. It says,
do we really?
We do. You're always surprised.
I really am always shocked.
Hi, Justin and Rob. Love your vids. 2 questions for you. 1, with Japan reopening soon, do you plan to visit again soon? What cities do you want to visit or revisit? And what activities do you want to do next trip, regardless of together, separate, or solo? Let me start by saying definitely separate.
Together, yes. Uh-huh.
Why don't we start with that question, Rob?
Wait. That was like 7 questions. And there's another question after this?
There's another question after that.
Okay. Obviously together.
I don't think so.
I'd probably need a few more years before I can finagle that, unless Justin just comes as the guardian on a family trip.
We could be like buddy daddies.
We could be like buddy daddies. Now, actually, hang on. Would you be more likely to come on a trip with me again to Japan if my wife and baby also came?
Yeah, if I had a separate room and I had certain parts of the agenda that I was doing on my own.
So you'd be more likely to come in that scenario.
With the autonomy of not being your babysitter/father the entire time.
But I would want you to be daddy on this trip so that I could have a break from being daddy.
I am not going to be free babysitting.
No. Hang on. That's not what I said. I meant your daddy to me as I'm daddy to my child.
That's what happened last time. We said you didn't have a child. I was going to say we didn't have a child. I still don't have a child, except for you.
Okay, so I guess we're going on a nice family trip next time. That sounds fun. I don't know. I liked it from where we went. I think I might want to actually do a little bit more with Kyoto. Because I feel like we shoved it all in one day, and that got really exhausting.
And then
for
you
both
got
of
us
us.
fucking lost.
Well, that's not how that went down. But I digress. More Kyoto. I don't know that I'd go back to Osaka. I didn't really find it that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything we did in Osaka, we could have been done in Tokyo. I think just exploring more of Tokyo and more of Kyoto. Is there a city you think we didn't get to?
I think I will be spending all 10 days at the Samurai Museum in search of our angel, Shiori-chan.
Shiori-chan.
Realistically, though, I think I'd probably only do Tokyo for like 2 or 3 days and then probably either go north and just check out the rest of Japan or go south and check out other parts of the country that I haven't seen, like Kobe or Hiroshima, or go north and go to Sapporo, any of those.
Yeah. We could do that.
I mean, that's what I plan to do.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do it.
Because I've actually been to Japan like 4 times now, and I'm like, every time I go with somebody new, and I'm like, okay, I'll take you on the triple city tour, which is fun, but I think I just want to get a new experience again.
Okay, that's fine for when we go. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
How about I take
as long as we just get to go to Sunshine City.
I'm going to take my grandchild with me, and you and your wife can go do your vacation, so you can drive her miserable.
Wait, why is it your grandchild?
Because I'm your father when we go on vacation.
That's right. That makes sense. Okay.
I'm going to have a grand time with her.
I was about to say, that would be a great anime. You and my baby going on a journey across Japan.
It could happen.
That sounds pretty fun.
Just kidnap your child. Also, I'm going to teach her how to eat fish so that she becomes an enjoyable travel partner, unlike you.
Oh, yeah. You can take her for the conveyor belt sushi.
Yeah. The second or 7th question, however you want to count it. What do you think of VTubers, streamers, and gamers, etc.? And do you watch or follow any? And This is from Kizuna Ai. Arigatou gozaimasu is what they said.
Hi.
Do you know who Kizuna Ai is?
No.
She's like the original VTuber before this whole influx came in a couple years ago.
Why is she emailing us?
Secret. I don't think it's actually her.
No, I don't know. There's just something AI feeling about it, if you know what I mean. It just feels very impersonable. I don't like it.
I think there's like a fine line where I'm like, yeah, these guys are just like performers as well, and they just choose not to show their face. But then the other part of me, I almost don't even dislike the VTubers, but I hate the people that love VTubers because they're just simping and they just throw money at them. And I'm just like, oh
Yeah, that
no.
too.
And that's technically not the VTubers' fault, but I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole community I'm not down with. But I mean, I'll sell out if we need to. I will.
We haven't shown our face yet, so
Yeah,
we
so
can create VTubers of ourselves right after answering this question.
yeah, no, if it'll make us money, I'll sell out big time. No problem.
Well,
But
thank you.
I don't condone it.
Well, thank you, Kizune. Thank you for all the questions.
Wow, I can't believe somebody so famous emailed us. That's crazy.
I know this is like a crazy podcast. We're so popular with
Yeah, that can't be right.
815 followers.
Oh boy.
Oh, you know what? I got one more story. I accidentally spilled the beans to a friend of mine that we have anime YouTube channel because I was like, oh, I got to work on something for the weekend. And she's like, what are you working on? And then she's
Had
like,
you been hiding it?
I was not intentionally trying to tell it. And then they're like, what's your channel? And then I was like, I can't tell you. It's too embarrassing. And then they're like, I'm going to search for it. It's going to pop up. And they searched
It
for
will.
2 hours and they could not find it.
Is it somebody I know or no?
No, no one you know.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, yeah, we're not doing too hot. If you can spend 2 hours searching anime podcast and we're not showing up.
Well, I mean, that's not great actually.
But as always, guys, thanks so much for listening. And we will catch you guys next time.